Hello, hello, hello again. I'm back for video number 2 on the pleasure tour. And today I want to talk about pain and pleasure. And I'm going to talk to you while I'm packing for the trip. So you might be interested in knowing what to pack when you go on your pleasure tour. So I've been talking about heartbreak, considering the fact that I've just gone through a really massive and painful breakup. And I'm using myself as a kind of example of how to heal from heartbreak and ultimately how to use pleasure as a spiritual practice to heal. So since I did the last video, which has been received very well, I'll say, I'm shocked and amazed and delighted, I've gotten a lot of commentary and some pushback even about the concept of pleasure, which is not uncommon and it happens all the time. And I want to clarify a little bit about what it means to have pleasure as a spiritual practice. And it might even seem to be at odds with each other, spirituality and pleasure, because so much of Western religion has placed them at odds. But let's make a quick clarification here. What I'm talking about is not scintillation. I'm not talking about running away from your pain or trying to mask it or hide it in any way. Heavens no. I'm talking about using pleasure as an indicator, as a teacher. Pain is an indicator, right? It's like you feel pain somewhere in your body and it's just letting you know that your body needs to be attended to in some way. Pain in the psyche works exactly the same way. I believe it's the soul which is really motivating you toward the next level of your evolution, and that we need to sometimes reach for tools or ideas that are outside of our current reach so that we can continue to evolve. What I've been noticing in myself at 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks out of my breakup, which was sudden and not really explained well. My partner has sort of vanished, and what I'm noticing in my own healing process is pain-inducing thoughts. So it's less about actually missing the partner. And for me, I'm noticing it's more about the shift in my identity. And we become identified with certain relationship statuses, right? Like, I love being partnered. I love having a beloved. And I dread being single. And so the shift in that identity for me is creating pain. And I'm noticing thoughts coming up that are actually accentuating my pain. Like, God, tell me if any of you have ever had thoughts like this. Just click the like or the love button or enter your experience in the comment section. Some of my pain-inducing thoughts are, God, I'm getting so old. Who will love me now? Oh, that one really hurts. And as a woman, so much of our worth and our social commentary, our social narrative is around our beauty and our youth. And as that begins to transition into other assets, I find it gets a really big trigger for myself and a lot of the women I work with. Other pain-inducing thoughts I'm noticing is, oh my God, I am single again. I hate being single. I hate dating. I hate doing that whole fucking thing. Meeting people and starting new relationships, and then the cycle of hope and disappointment. And I know I'm not the only one out there who despises this rhythm. And when I think about going back to that, I feel so much pain. So my practice lately has been sitting very quietly and actually tuning into my thoughts and carefully identifying what are the thoughts that bring pain and what are the thoughts that bring pleasure, and choosing those thoughts. So a lot of people have been writing to me and saying, you just have to feel all the feelings and you have to go through the sadness and the anger and et cetera, et cetera. And I definitely believe that that's true. But can we accelerate the healing process by carefully selecting the thoughts in which we believe in? So when I hear these thoughts now of no one will love me at this age, or I'm too this or I'm too that, and fuck, now I'm single again and I have to go through the whole single thing again. I'm just shutting it off, and I'm replacing those thoughts with healthy, pleasurable, welcoming thoughts. So I want to offer one of these thoughts to you. If you're single, or even if you're partnered and you're having any of the thoughts that I have, I'll tell you this. I am determined to innovate what it means to be single. I am determined to have a fucking blast being single and to attach in a new way and to connect and to relate in a revolutionary style that brings more pleasure than it does pain. And as I go along and I invent this new way of relating, I'm going to bring you with me. And we're going to go on the pleasure tour and start just making shit up, because we're really at a time in history where we're all just making shit up anyway. So back to pain and pleasure. I always say the clients that I work with in my programs and in my coaching, be more directed by your pleasure than your pain. Just as pain is an indicator, so is pleasure. Pleasure will direct you. Pleasure will help you follow your path. Notice what's feeling good in your body, and it's as simple as that. Notice the thoughts that are bringing you pain. Notice the thoughts that are bringing you pleasure. Look, in any situation, especially if it's like a distressing situation, the brain wants to create a narrative about it. The brain wants to create a story. And if you're like me and you've had a partner that has kind of disappeared in a way, we are left to create our own narrative of what the fuck happened. I would love to hear from you if you've ever had this experience of like being ghosted or having a disappearing partner. I know it happens. It's equal opportunity. Men and women have it happen to them as well. And how did you handle it? You know, eventually we have to just create our own story. And this is why I want to tell you. You can create a story that brings you pleasure. Got it? Okay. So pleasure is not avoidance or scintillation. Pleasure is a messenger. And on my trip, I'm going to tell you what I'm bringing, because I'm listening to my pleasure, and this is what my pleasure is telling me to pack. By the way, you can follow along, if you're not up to speed yet, with the pleasure tour on my personal Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Eva Clay. Okay, back to what I'm bringing on the pleasure tour. Essential oils. I love these. My Fascia Blaster. If you are not hip to the Fascia Blaster yet, highly recommend. Feathers. Feathers for pleasure and feathers for spirituality. Both. Crystals. My jade eggs. That might be TMI, but you know what? Fuck it. It's all TMI these days. Books. This one especially is rocking my soul. Oops. Highly recommend. Erotica, because that's how I roll. My Keto Diet Cookbook. Bill Plotkin. If you are not into him yet, you should be. I'm doing my own self-directed soulcraft journey on the pleasure tour. Books on the Enneagram, because I love the Enneagram and I just can't study it enough, and it's so smart. If you know your type, I would love to know what it is. Enter it in the comments below. I am a type 4, which basically means I'm super romantic and creative and a complete pain in the ass. More books. Ones that I read every single day. Coming with me. A selfie stick. I can't believe I actually broke down and bought a selfie stick. These are the most annoying things in the whole fucking world. And I feel like a ridiculous narcissist even using one. I haven't actually used it yet. But if I'm really going to do this, if I'm really going to do the pleasure tour and share it with you, I had to get one. What is this? I am a celebrated academic, and now this is how I'm teaching, with a fucking selfie stick. A half-drunk bottle of tequila. My flute. my drum. What else? A hat for my convertible, and my harmonica. What else does a girl need? So keep following. I'm going to keep sharing. Facebook.com/Eva Clay. And let's make a whole new world together. That's what I'm into. I'm going to see you next from the road, and I love you so much.